Alright guys, there are some really interesting things that the team is thinking about bringing to Clash of Clans, whether it be gold pass changes, whether it be, the frequency of legendary sceneries, as well as some of the new things that they're trying to implement throughout this year and the next year. I'm going to be giving you guys a live reaction and commentary on the video that's already available on the channel, so you guys can go ahead and check that out on the official Clash of Clans channel. And just to be clear, this is not me or Clash of Clans or Supercell saying that any of these things are coming. This is just kind of a commentary on some of the things that they're talking about, as well as my own opinions. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, let's get started with the video. Once again, this is a preliminary version, so I've got an early version. This might not be what you guys see, but it's going to be pretty similar content anyways.
Welcome.
Oh, also I got this at a little bit faster speed, but we got it at 1.5 because I don't want you guys to basically sit here for 30 minutes watching me watch a video, right?
So David, in the beginning of the month, we had a very difficult situation regarding the gold pass. And players were quite happy about it.
Yeah, we did.
And by the way, thank you for letting us know. It was harsh, but necessary. Could you tell us a little bit more about the decision of removing the skin from the gold pass?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'd like to take a quick step back because in a Clash team, we always have the best intentions of the player in mind. And I know you might think...
Yo, I believe this, like straight up. Like, first of all, I just want to say this, like, I believe this. I think they always do have the best intentions in mind. They just have execution problems sometimes.
Of course, I would say that, but like Clash is a game that's been around for 12 years, and we want Clash to be around for 20, 30, 40 more years. We want Clash to be a game that's remembered forever. And if we don't do things that are in the best interest of players, that will not happen. Our player base will shrink and shrink, and we'll be a game that's remembered for a couple of decades at most. For us, their player base and growing our player base is the most important thing. And it's more important than monetization. Monetization is important because it allows us to do cooler things in the game for players and incentivizes them to come back next year, next month, next week. And it also allows us to kind of make more players in the world know about Clash. And so it's all with this kind of idea in mind of growing the player base. And so being...
Yeah, they need to make money, right? At the end of the day, if they don't make money, nobody's going to work on the game. So like, yeah, monetization is the thing. And I think they do it pretty decently. They're not like EA or anything,
A game eventually that players will remember forever. But to your question specifically, why remove the skin from the gold pass? Ultimately,
I'm going to speed this up even more.
We had reason to believe that people do not buy the gold pass because of the skin. And we needed to find out the answer to that question. And the reason that that's important and is in the interest of the players is because if people are buying the skin, they're buying the gold pass because of the skin, then that's really useful for us to know, because then that means that the people that are interested in skins in the game is much bigger than we thought. And so when we're prioritizing all the cool things we can do in the game, maybe we prioritize skins a bit higher than other things. And on the other hand, if people are not buying the gold pass because of the skin, that's also really important for us to know, because that's not good for players that do like skins, because that kind of devalues skins for those group of players, because a lot of those players, when they think of skins, they get the value from exclusivity. And if we're giving out these skins to players that don't really care about them, that's not good for those players and the value that they get from this thing that they care about.
And I think it's...
Look, this is true, right? So if they wanted to know like whether or not skins were that important, I didn't think the skins were that important. I wasn't buying the gold pass for the skins, right? And I think a lot of players weren't either, but apparently like they are, right? So that's really important for them to know. But like, you could have just put out a poll on like Twitter or something and just ask people on your YouTube channel, put out a community poll. That would have, it just would have been a lot simpler.
Super important to have that extra context, because one of the things we missed the mark with this whole decision, I think, was that we didn't communicate properly with our players and talk about this. So I think they're all caught by surprise by this decision, and I think maybe if we were like more open and transparent from the beginning, things could have been different. So I think it's a great learning for us, and it's something that of course we're gonna apply in the future decisions. And again, we're doing all of this again thinking about the player and what's best, but it doesn't mean we're not gonna make wrong decisions sometimes, like the wrong choice. It happens, and that's why we have the players to tell us we're doing something wrong, that we dropped the ball, so we can fix the issue. And speaking about fixing the issue, we did roll back and we added the skin back in the past, right?
Yeah, so like before we get into like this part of the video, basically, yeah, they're just saying, they tried to like make up for it. They gave us a legendary skin. Yeah, that's great. Again, like just put out a poll next time, right? Like that's my thing, I do it all the time, right? Just spam the polls. It's all right. People vote on them, and you'll know what you want to know. But I don't think they're out to get people, right? Some people are like, yeah, they're just trying to make money. I don't think they're out to get people. That's just my opinion. Let's move on.
Because we're running out of space, and it's a big problem because you want to showcase your decorations. I have a lot of cool decorations. So what's the next step here?
This is a tricky one. So there are some maybe obvious solutions for this. We could just increase like the space around the edge of the scenery, and that will give players more space for decos. But that's a short-term solution, because eventually we'll run into the space problem.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah. The next solution that there potentially is this like completely separate area. So you have your builder base, clan capital, home village, and then we talk about this sort of sanctuary idea, like a safe place that can't get attacked, but you can explore and customize your decos there. And that's a decent idea. But the problem with that is that I think players are really interested in decorating their home village, something that they're kind of more emotionally connected to, and maybe the sanctuary wouldn't fit that bill. So the solution isn't super obvious. I guess if we really think about what the problem is,
bro, anybody who plays Squad Busters right now, your home thing, like where you can put all those decorations, nobody cares about that. Like nobody cares because nobody else sees it, right? So this sanctuary idea is not it. Like we've seen it in Squad Busters, it doesn't do well, right? So let's see what they got.
players just, it's not necessarily that players don't have space in the home builds to place their decos, it's that they don't have anywhere to place their decos. They don't even have a place in their like inventory management to have like decos in a nice order. So maybe that's a solution, and maybe that's something that we'll think about going forward.
That's good to hear. Yeah, again, we don't have yet a solution, but we're definitely thinking about it because we recognize this is an issue for players right now. And I have one more question before we move forward to the next topic. Can we...
Yeah, so maybe like a decoration storage where you can like, you know, move things around. I think that's okay. Like it just makes the issue easier, but it doesn't really solve the issue, right? So that's something that we're gonna have to think about.
Can we expect any more controversial changes related to the Gold Pass in the future?
So, like, ultimately, if we think that there's something, again, in the interest of players that might be controversial, that relates to the Gold Pass, we probably would do it. But again, what we would do differently is that we would definitely...
My man said, I don't care. Like...
talk about to the players much earlier to get feedback.
Okay, good.
There's nothing else planned like that. In fact, anything else that we have planned for the Gold Pass is more on the positive side. At the moment, the Gold Pass is like a one pass fits all sort of setup, and we have some changes in mind where we want to, you know, personalize it a bit more depending on what town hall you're in, depending on how you engage in the game. So this should be a clear positive for the players in terms of the Gold Pass.
Yo, that is actually good news. So I like full transparency, I skimmed through this video once before, but I really want to talk about this, right? So like what he just said was that, you know, right now the Gold Pass is like one size fits all, right? So that's true. The Gold Pass right now is the same thing, no matter if you're a Town Hall 6 or a Town Hall 16, like it's literally the same thing, right? Or Town Hall 7, whatever. So that's like cool, but at the same time it's not very like productive for the players. So for example, you're gonna get tons of magic items if you're a lower town hall level. You're not even getting good magic item value, and at the higher town hall levels you're gonna get magic items, you're gonna get runes and stuff. You don't even need those. Like I don't even have anything on the main account that I can spend elixir on, so like I don't need the runes, right? So this is like an important thing. Like, if we could customize that Gold Pass, if we could say, all right, look, I don't really want, you know, runes, I just want magic items. Or maybe you're fully maxed. Like fully maxed players, why are you buying the Gold Pass? Like if anything, they're doing it for the skins. They have no reason to buy the Gold Pass, right? But if you gave them like ores instead or something like that, they might be like, yo, this is 100% worth it, right? So if we could get customizable Gold Passes, that would be good. Like yo, my lab is always going to be something that players struggle with. Imagine if you could like set like your rewards for like more for lab instead of building. This would be an amazing change. Like this is something that needs to happen. It been needed to happen. Like this is very, very important. And for lower level players, they can get, you know, some smaller magic items, which will help them, right? Or something else. Because the worst thing is like when you have magic items and then you get magic items from the Gold Pass too, and now all of a sudden you can't use anything, right? So this is a change that needs to happen, and I hope they do implement it.
So there we go. Okay, so we just released our most majestic cosmetic ever, the Legendary Scenery, and the team...
Bro, the Legendary Scenery is amazing. Like the amount of work they've done for the Legendary Scenery is actually crazy.
Done an amazing job with the scenery, but we all know it's more on the premium side when it comes to its price. And I would like you to tell us a little bit more why. What was the decision behind this price?
Yeah, so at $32.99 US, not including tax, it's really expensive. There's no other way to put it. And you might be asking, I thought we were talking about doing things in the best interest of players. How is this in the best interest of players? But there is some good intention here. In Clash, we're trying to become more cosmetic focused when it comes to monetization. And the reason we want to do that is because we want to have monetization that is as fair as possible. And fair monetization essentially is monetization that does not alienate the free-to-play player. And cosmetics in that context.
Do you guys see how the caption says monetization? Like monetization? I wonder if that's like because of like other languages. Anyways,
it's really good. So we think about the different ways we can monetize. It's like just pay to win, and that's something we don't want to do, and I hope the players don't think we do that. There's pay to progress quicker, and that's kind of what we do mostly in Clash. And it's pretty player friendly because when we release new content, everyone gets it. But if you pay, you kind of get first access, early access to it. And in Clash, I think we do a pretty good job of making that fair. But the fairest way to monetize is via cosmetics because they don't alienate the player at all. They have no impact on gameplay, and it's a super fair way to monetize. And when we think about like the revenue we make in the game and the split between pay to progress and cosmetics,
he's cooking right now. He's cooking
because we believe that this is the most player-friendly way in the long term to monetize and kind of sets us up nicely to be this game that's around for 30, 40 years and remember forever.
Yeah, this is true. The fairest way to monetize is through cosmetics, like because cosmetics don't give you anything in the game. That's basically what he's saying, right? Like if we think about other games, we think about like Fortnite, we think about all these other games, right? Basically that's how they monetize, right? But imagine if, you know, you did extra like bullet damage or whatever, like that would just be completely unfair, right? So right now a lot of players are going to be like, oh, you know, but you could get max equipment faster. You could get max like town halls faster. 100%, like you could, but everybody can get there. They're just progressing faster, right? But there's nothing in the game that you can pay for right now that puts you just at an unfair advantage over somebody, over what somebody else can get with time. And that's like 100% fair. But it looks like they're moving more towards just cosmetics, right? And if they're trying to monetize that way, that's fine as long as there's good value. Again, $33 was not a cheap price for the scenery. Even for me, I was like, yo, I don't know, right? But I mean, it's a really dope scenery, I'm not gonna lie.
And said all that, how often do we plan to release this new tier of sceneries?
At the moment, we're thinking like 3 to 4 times max a year. Like it's really exclusive. And we want the release skins to reflect that. Because if you're a player and you buy one of these, you may not want to like switch it straight away next month. You might want to hold on to it and like really kind of take it all in. So that's why it's important that it kind of happens at this 3 or 4 times a year cadence. And the months that we don't do the legendary scenery, we'll have the regular scenery selling as usual. So this isn't necessarily like replacing the regular scenery, which is really high price legendary scenery. The regular scenery will still be there, and will be there in the months that we don't sell the legendary scenery.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so that's good. Like basically, he's just saying 3 to 4 months. So that's good, right? Because I'm not gonna buy another scenery for a while now. Now that I have the legendary one, I'm not shelling out for any other scenery right now because it's gonna be inferior, right? So I'm just gonna wait till the next legendary one comes around and then I'll spend on that, right? So I think this is a solid change. You know, it shouldn't be too often, but it should be enough time where you can make it good. Like I think people would much rather have a good product than than not a good one, right?
Because there were some questions about like, okay, so we're having legendary series, we're not having the regular series anymore, so we're still gonna have both. It's just okay, that's good to know. Can we expect something similar for skins, like even like top tier above legendary for skins?
Yeah, maybe. Like we've talked about potentially this sort of mythic tier skin idea, but we'll see how it goes. Like I think we do have other plans in store for cosmetics, and that might come before that. But if we have the time, we would definitely like to look into a higher tier for skins as well.
Yo, I'm not pretending. I fully missed this the first time I watched this video. Mythic tier skins is crazy. Listen, I'm game for anything that brings Seth Gaming back. All right, if anything brings Seth Gaming back for a video or two, I'm game, bro. So mythic tier skins are crazy. I just don't know how much better a skin could get, right? Like how much better could an actual skin get? That would be insane. What if you had like an anime? You know how like when you open up the game, right, with the legendary scenery right now, there's like an animation, right? What if every time you drop the hero, there was an animation, like the whole attack, the time, everything just pauses, and there's just like this animation, right? Oh man, mythic tier skins would be dope, and I hope they do eventually come out with it. Obviously, you know, just work on it, right? Make it good, make it worth it. That's just my only thing, right? If people are gonna pay for something, make it worth it. That's it, all right? And use code BD in the shop, all right? Yeah, you already know.
Myself as a cosmetic collector, I love cosmetics in every game I play, so I'm really happy to see that we're going that direction as well, exploring more cosmetics in the game, because I think that's super appealing, something you can show everyone. So super excited to hear these things. Do we have any other plans you can share regarding?
Yo, look at the staging on this video. The staging is crazy, okay? That's just
Cosmetics for Clash of Clans?
Yeah, I kind of alluded to at the start that we want to do cosmetics that are definitely cheaper if we sell them, or cosmetics we give out to the free-to-play player via engagement. And so the one thing we're thinking a lot about now is emotes, and not necessarily just emotes in the chat, but emotes like as an attacker, as a defender, you can use emotes in different situations. And this is something that we're kind of really considering. That might be this next step for cosmetics. The benefit of emotes is that you can kind of provide them in abundance. They really are good on the social side. It's like an outlet through which players can express themselves and communicate with others. So we're really excited about this one. So we're still talking about it, we're still planning about it, but this could be potentially the next step for cosmetics.
Okay. Yeah, look, I think emotes should have been in Clash of Clans for a long time now. I think look, if you're watching like a clanmate do their war attack and you want to be like, yo, you're doing great, you shouldn't have to wait till the end of the attack to be like, yo, hey, like yeah, great attack in the clan chat. You know, we should be able to like emote when they're like attacking in the clan war, right? And then just like in general, right? I think just emotes are an easy way. And I like what he said about free-to-play players getting more cosmetics. I think since we have all these tiers and all these different cosmetics coming out, let's just make something for the free-to-play guys, you know? Let's just give them some skins anyway, so they don't have to have, you know, default Warden out here walking around doing a Warden walk or whatever, you know? Like those things get really boring very quickly, so yeah.
Okay, so we had an update just now, and now we have a new type of event in the game, the treasure hunt. And
yes, sir.
We have a new type of reward, which are the chests.
Yes, sir.
What are we talking about? Because they contain random rewards, and what does that mean? So can you talk to us a little bit more about this new event and this new type of reward?
Randomization is super fun. That's what we think, and players are going to have a lot of fun.
I agree.
Playing with it. Like Clash, for 12 years, essentially has been a game that's been deterministic in terms of reward structure. Like you get what you think you're going to get, and that's for a strategy-based game. That's good, and there's a lot of benefits to that. It's fair, it's transparent, but there are also some downsides to it. It becomes stale, it becomes predictable, it becomes boring, arguably, and so randomization adds in some excitement, which we think is going to be fun for players. Now that's not to say that randomization is going to be everywhere in the game now. It will still predominantly be a game that's based upon deterministic-based rewards because it's a strategy-based game. But we want to throw like sprinkle in a bit of randomization there because we think it's going to be fun for players. And then in terms of the event itself, the treasure hunt event, we want to be quite careful with how we introduce this new reward type. We don't want to like switch things that players already have with this new thing. So that's kind of why we made a temporary event out of this. And also the mechanic, like the mechanic in the event itself, where the chest is behind one of 3 buildings. We think this could be fun for players. We want to always try new things to see if the players like it. So we hope that players do like this sort of like guess or check which building the chest is behind. And maybe we'll try more new things like that. And that's kind of the thought process behind the event and the rewards themselves.
I think the event sounds super exciting.
Yeah, look, I'm fully with this guy. Like I don't know who this is actually. So I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. You're cooking right now though. But like I like it. I like what's happening here. Basically, they're just saying like, yo, core game Clash of Clans is still deterministic. It's still strategy focused. You can still listen to BD Legend and all of his strategic rushing videos. I like that, right? But, you know, random game, like outside of that, random game is fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is fun. It was always fun. Like, the best part, I used to play Clash Royale, right? The best part of Clash Royale for me was when I didn't know there was a chess cycle, because I always thought it was gonna be random. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, it was really fun at that point, right? So the fact that it actually is random, because even in Squad Busters they use a cycle, but the fact that this is actually random is super fun. I think that's like 100% the way like they should be doing it, right? And it should be something small that just players can do every single day so they can have fun in the game. I agree with this. This is spot on for me.
Exciting, especially because it's quite free-to-play friendly, because everyone can get the chest. You can get, if you're lucky, you can get the epic or the legendary chest as well, which can contain amazing rewards. And we already have the new type of rewards, the Magic Snacks, which we'll talk about more later. But I think it's super exciting, and again, it's friendly, and it only adds up in more rewards and more type of rewards in the game. So I think it's a very positive thing.
Yeah, and one thing to add there is that, like, so the current setup of the event is that you get 3 chests. You can get 3 chests every 48 hours. Initially, we talked about doing 3 chests every 24 hours, but we really want to be free to play friendly. We don't really want to be friendly to the players that maybe don't engage that much. And if we did 3 chests every 24 hours, a lot of those players wouldn't get all the chests. And so we want to make it a bit kind of more casual player friendly. And that's why it's 3 chests every 48 hours. But let's see how it goes in the future. We might change that and make it maybe a bit more predominant in these events.
Look, I wanna touch on this because apparently a lot of people have been talking about, you know, why is it every 48 hours? Why is it not every 24 hours? Look, I have 3 accounts and I'm making content and I'm a med student, right? So me personally, I can barely get to all these accounts every 48 hours. I'm just being real with you. Like, I'm being 100%, right? So if you have one account and you play a lot and you're super active, you might be like, bruh, this is not like, you know, this is like, why do I have to wait all these hours? I get your point. Like, I get it. But there are other people in the game who either they're not as active or they have a lot of accounts. Some people have like literally double-digit number of accounts, right? They basically have all these accounts, and imagine trying to get all of these chests every single time, every single day. It would just not be feasible, right? So I kind of get this point. Let's see, you know, how everybody feels about it. Obviously, more rewards are more fun, but like the fact that you like might miss out on some of them is also kind of hurtful, right? So I think right now it's fine. We'll see what happens, right?
All sounds great, but many players are already talking about having these type of randomized rewards, or some people call it loot box, inside the game, and they're worried about what does this mean for Clash of Clans in the future. Is there anything you can tell us about these type of rewards being in the game now? What does it mean for the game?
Yeah. So like, I just said that like randomized rewards are fun and randomization is fun, but I do understand the kind of darker side of it and the connections it has to gambling. And I want to be super clear that like the purpose of this is to create more fun in the game. It's not monetization related, and we have no plans to sell these boxes. It's all going to be connected to engagement and events. That's kind of the plan. And maybe we're in other parts of the game, but we do not plan to sell these things for money. Because again, we have to ask yourself the question: if we want to be a game that's around for 20, 30, or 40 more years, does selling loot boxes get us to that place as a strategy-based game? And whatever, maybe the answer to that is no. And so there's no plans to sell these at the current moment, at least.
Pretty sure.
Look, this is really important, okay? First of all, I want to talk about like gambling. Don't ever gamble. It's not worth it. It's like such a terrible habit that you can develop, and it is fun. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, it is fun. That's why people get into this habit, right? Anything that's a bad habit, like, it's fun. So people do it all the time. So don't gamble, because it's not good for you and it's gonna ruin your life, right? I've seen this with people, right? That's one thing. Second thing is the fact that they aren't deciding to sell chests. I love that. I mean, like, I'm the type of player that would buy the chest, right? But the fact that they're not selling it, I love it, because that means if you get something out of a chest that's extremely rare, that is what it is. You know, it's not the fact that you bought it. It's not the fact that you know, bought other things to get more chests. It's literally by chance itself. So that in itself is like rare, and it's worth something, no matter what type of player you are, whether you're free to play or a person who buys things, right? So I think everybody having an opportunity to get that experience is actually really good. So I love this. I don't think they should ever sell the chests. I think they should keep them around, and they should just never sell them.
Sure, players will be relieved to hear about this as well. And again, as you said, it's super fun to open the box, the chest, whatever you want to call it, and don't know what's inside. And it could be anything with amazing rewards we have. So I think, again, it's just something new and fun to write into the game. That's not taking away anything from the players. It's only adding more value to them. So
amazing rewards is kind of generous though, man. The amount of clan capital roofs I see is crazy.
It's amazing.
And they're called chests. So we actually had a lot of time thinking about what we call them. And funnily, we landed on chests because they are chests.
Yeah, it is a treasure hunt, so it makes sense you're gonna find chests. Yeah, so it's perfect. Another question I have regarding this, now that we have this new type of reward in the game, So far, we only have it available during the event, which is great, and we all understand why. But we have plans on expanding the availability of these chests, where we can find them, other places in the game.
We want to see how this goes. But if it goes well, we would plan to maybe add it to certain different parts of the game. So for example, maybe we add a few to the silver track, maybe we add some to challenge levels, maybe we add some to other places. And maybe we'll make some different types of chests. So maybe we have like event-specific chests where maybe you get the pool is like all temp troops, or maybe like it's cosmetic-specific chests. And these are some of the plans we have going forward. Hopefully it goes well in this first release though.
That sounds
Yeah, so basically we might get chests on in other places, and I hope so too, because I would hate to have to wait for the treasure chest event every single time to get chests.
super exciting. And just so everyone knows, in case you're not aware, the drop rates for each one of the chests is available for everyone. So you can check what are the chests for you to get each of the rarity types. So everything is pretty clear, and you can get information anytime you want. So do we have any more plans for future events? What's next?
Yeah, so like when it comes to events, we want to create like give something players to talk about. Like the big moments in the game is when we like release new town hall updates. But what happens between those updates? And with events, we want to create like really exciting moments for players in between. We want to create moments that are more social, that are really fun and varied and novel. And we do have some plans. So hopefully by the end of this year, we have something pretty special and unique that could be coming. And then next year, our main focus will be on creating this new social event type. So the last time Home Villages had like a new social event with clan games, and maybe next year something else comes.
Okay. So two big things here. Actually, might be the biggest things in the video, right? First thing is that they have something really unique and exciting for this year. So there's only one update left this year, right? It's the December update. So they have something unique and exciting for that, right? According to them. So we could be getting something really awesome for the end of this year, and that's just something to think about. The other thing is that they're gonna focus on the social aspect of the game next year. That's what they've said right here. So yeah, and they're saying next year they're gonna focus on something that's a little bit more social. I think that's good. I think we could use that a little bit in the game, and I'm really excited to see what they come up with.
Something big.
Maybe something big.
Okay, exciting. So all right, thank you very much, David. It was really nice. So now let's get to the other topics.
David,
extra context.
you're cooking, bro. Applause for David. All right.
Why we decide to include hero equipment this time, but is there a reason as well why we decide to also nerf and not just buff them? Is there weaker?
Currently, the game is, at least for some players at Town Hall 16, it's a bit too easy. Some of the competitive game modes like Wars...
Yeah, for some players, not me though.
Because it's too easy to get a perfect attack towards your opponent. And for this reason, if we had buffed all the hero equipment, this problem would have become even worse. So we would have even more perfect wars.
I think that when we're from the outside, I think sometimes we forget about these little details and how hard it is to balance all these elements in the game. Is that the reason also why we decide to not just focus on buffing troops or...
I'll tell you what I think about game balance right after we're done with this part, okay?
Troops and heroes, and we had to include hero equipment.
Yes, the answer to that question probably comes down to the balance between army and heroes. It was becoming kind of quite clear that the heroes are very strong. Some players
are so strong,
destroying almost the entire base, or in some cases even the entire base, using heroes only without using any troops. So it seemed from that angle, it seemed quite clear.
I've seen videos where like people are taking out the whole base with just heroes. Like that was the thing we used as an analogy before, but people were actually doing it. It's insane. Like
you want to address the strength of heroes in some cases. We could have like buff defenses to make the defenses stronger, but one problem with that approach would have been that if we have some players who don't have the maxed out equipment yet, they are on their way there, and if we had buff defenses, then those players would struggle more in their attack.
You know what? This is something I didn't think about, right? Because my thing was like, why didn't you just buff defenses, right? Because then you don't take away something from the players. But yeah, that's true. If you don't have max equipment, you're getting smoked.
Which we wanted to avoid. And we could have also like buff troops, but then the game wouldn't have become like the game would have become even easier than it currently is, and that would not be great for the balance of the game, as it was even in the current situation, it was slightly too easy in Town Hall 16.
That's great to hear, and I think that will help with everyone that's wondering why we decide to do this. And even though there are a lot of players who already understand, I think that nerfs are needed, but sometimes I think we have this idea that only buffing is enough, but that's not true clearly. We do need the nerfs as well. And now that we've done this for the first time, is this something we can expect in the future? Are we going to keep buffing and nerfing equipment?
We are not going to do that regularly, but we are going to introduce new equipment, and the game is also going to change when we introduce some other new things which might impact how good equipment are. And whenever we do new equipment, we try as hard as possible to make it balanced. But it's always difficult to get the balance just right. We want the new equipment to be strong, so people would feel excited about it, and they would want to try it out. But we don't want it to be overpowered. And finding this balance is sometimes difficult, because we have a limited amount of people who are testing these things out before they go live. And in many situations...
Yo, me right here. I can test it out. So basically, yeah, they were just talking about equipment for all this time. I'm just going to summarize it. Basically, they're just saying that they need to obviously see the hit rates and see, measure the data. So we're not going to have like any equipment balance changes very soon, which is like really good, because a lot of people right now are frustrated. Obviously, some of you are frustrated that, hey, like, I don't know if I should even invest into equipment yet. Like, why should I do that? And I have a video on equipment that's being edited right now. So guys, don't worry about that. Like, I got you covered on that. But what I will say is that, one, we don't need to expect any more balance changes soon, because they need a lot of data and there has been no new equipment added. Second of all, the balance of the game is really good right now. Like, I personally, yeah, sure, there are some dominant strategies at Town Hall 16, but it's way more balanced than it was before the balance changes. So I think the balance is actually really decent right now, and I actually really like where the game is right now in terms of balance. I think it's really strong and it's really skill based, and I think those are the things that you want, right? So let me know what you guys think, but personally, I think the balance is very good right now, and you guys will see that in the equipment video once it does come out.
All right, Rafael, right off the bat, I want to know, why did we decide to add magic snacks to the game? I mean, they're tasty, super fun to use, but why?
Yeah, I think the main reason for the existence is that we wanted to make battling more fun, more exciting, and especially more rewarding for players. So it's always more fun to go to a battle if your siege machines are full, but it can be hard for players to request clan castle reinforcement donations every time, and some players don't even know that they can reinforce their troops using raid medals. So we introduced the clan castle cake, and the same can be applied to a lot of other things like testing new troops or new equipment. It can be a bit challenging, but if you use the power pancake or the mighty morsel, you can go there and you can have these elements in their full potential and experiment like how fun they can be in their maximum level. These magic snacks offer us an opportunity to explore wild effects and giving players this moment of feeling very OP, but keeping the big picture in a fair state.
I would like to know, because I have my...
So like, I want to touch on this real quick because I feel like a lot of players don't understand this. A lot of viewers don't understand this. Not players, viewers. The fact that like Clash of Clans has like tens of millions of users a year, but the viewers don't exceed like 2-3 million. What does that tell you? It basically tells you that most people don't watch videos, so they actually don't know like how to use a lot of these things, right? And they're probably not in good clans either. Most clans are not even that good, so you're not getting reinforcements. So like this is a solid change for the super casual, like everyday players who don't even watch videos. You know what I'm saying? Like I think magic snacks are pretty awesome.
My own, but what's your favorite magic snack so far?
Well, I have two of them. The first one is the training treat. I really like how he changed my strategies for battling and wars. And the second one is mighty morsel because I love
this man knows. He made the magic snack, right? He knows.
So good to be able to train your army right away. And I see some players talking about, oh, why heroes, they're still like, if they're like resting, they still need to wait for the time. But I think it's so good if you're like just farming as well. So just like train your bunch of sneaky goblins or whatever it is. So I think it's really fun in that way because you don't have to just jump straight away into it. So I think that was my favorite so far.
Yeah, sure. I mean, training tree, even though you don't get like the heroes on the training tree, it is really good for loot, and you could still like skip some trophies if you use like, like a spam attack or something like that. So it's not OP, but it's pretty good.
I'm excited to hear what players think about that one, but I'm hyped.
And I think one of the main differences here between the magic items we have in the game and the magic snacks is that, well, two, they expire and they can't be stacked. So does that mean that magic snacks are going to be easier to find in the game compared to these magic items?
Well, there are a few points in here. The first one is that we know that players like to save their items, reserve them for that special moment, and we're okay with that. But
yes, sir. That's what we do here. We save magic items, don't we? We save Clan War League medal. We save everything until the optimum moment, and only then will we use it, on the full moon.
These specific items, we want to remove that pressure of like, should I save, should I use it now? We want them to be something that you can acquire and you can explore the benefits right away. You don't have that internal pressure. The decision making is a lot easier. And with that being said, we want to expand your opportunities to get them in the game. At the moment, you can only acquire them through the treasure hunt event, so you get them through the chest.
Okay, good.
But I think slowly we're going to see like what are the other spots in the game that we can include them. Always with that mindset of keywording players for their engagement.
And based on what I've seen so far, I think it's really cool to find these magic snacks in other places in the game because again, as I said, it's really cool to be able to use them right away because again, you don't have the pressure, right? So I think it's really good. Okay, let's just see how it's going to work. Let's just like test this out. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and we want to hear from the community. If you have ideas about what are the cool places that we can include these items, let us know. We're always hearing.
And since we're talking about ideas and I guess future plans, what does the future look like for magic?
Yeah, I agree with this, right? Like it kind of forces you to use the magic item, but then you can have fun with it. So I think that's also good. For sometimes I think like players like us, players like my viewers, right? You guys are kind of like, all right, how do we optimize this? I'm like that too, right? So how do we optimize this? But because of that, we actually don't end up having fun with just like everyday items. So I kind of see his point. It's kind of for people like us, right? To just finally have fun in the moment type of thing, right?
Snacks.
First of all, we hope that our players love the magic snacks as much as we do, and we would love to keep cooking new recipes for them. So at the moment, we have a lot of extra ideas in our drawers, but there's this constant fact from Clash of Clans that some of our best ideas, they came from the community. So now it's the moment to hear from them. How do they feel about the current set of magic snacks, and what are the new effects that they would like to see in the game? We are all ears.
Again, that's great to hear, and please share your feedback about all of that and more if you have, sure. And as I said before, since they're temporary, they don't stack, we can be a little bit crazy when it comes to the ideas, right, around magic snacks. So please, whatever you have in mind, let us know, no matter how crazy it might sound. We'd love to hear. So thank you very much, Rafael. Thanks for being here and sharing this insight into the world of magic snacks. Super interesting to know how you all came up with this and what was the reasoning behind. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
We should have a magic snack that increases your spell storage space, so you can just like make everything invisible and then fireball the other side of the base. That's just my idea, but anyways, like I think it's pretty cool. I would love to see like what kind of new magic snacks that they can come up with. And guys, that was it. Thank you so much to the Clash of Clans team and Supercell for making this video. If you guys want to see the full video without interruptions and you just want to see what they're saying in general, you can go ahead and check out the video right here. I'll have it linked, and I'll see you guys in the next one.